Hey, my name is Steve, and last week's trading we had a 75% success rate. There were 4 trades taken, 3 of them made a profit, and the 4th one hasn't actually stopped out yet, but it is just about to hit the actual stop loss. That was on the Euro Canadian dollar. You can see here on my chart the Euro Canadian trade from last week. The entry was, as per my rules, we actually had a touch in the red zone here for a sell, and at the close of this daily candle, we actually placed our sell order. However, it pretty much went against us straight away, and it's now just about to hit the stop loss, which was placed just above the zone. So that was our one losing trade from last week. Now let's get into the trades for this week. And I'm not going to go through every currency pair. There's 28 pairs plus gold that I'm actually watching. I will just go through the trade setups that I actually do see, and the currency pairs which don't have a setup, I'm just going to skip through those and delete them out of the video, just to make it shorter for you. So here we have the Aussie Canadian. We have a zone that we've retested multiple times, and we've actually had a few trades in this zone already, which have turned into a profit. The next one I'm looking at is the Aussie Swiss. Now we are coming up to an area which has actually been tested before, a resistance level. So I'm going to draw the zone in now for this one. And what we're looking at is, if we come into this area sometime in this next coming week, we will be looking for a touch in this zone, kind of like this kind of setup, like into the zone, close with a red candle, and then we'll be looking at taking this one short. Next one we have is the Aussie New Zealand dollar. We're coming into a zone again now, and if we draw that one on the chart, it's kind of looking like this. So we're looking for touch of this zone and then a close below. The actual trades I'm placing are actually on the 4-hour chart. So once we actually go into the zone, then I go down to the 4-hour chart and doing a look at a previous one to show you what I'm looking at. This is where I would enter a trade. I would look for a big red candle like this one, out and closing below the zone, and then I would enter my short. Stop loss would go above the zone. So in this case, it would be around a 30 pip stop loss. How we're looking for this one to come into the zone and close below for a short. Next one we have is the Canadian Swiss, and this one has been a bit of up and down over the last few weeks. We can see here that we did have a resistance support zone here that has been tested multiple times, but then beginning of last month, so June, it actually crashed straight through this zone and kept going. There's actually a green zone at that point, ready for a bounce off this support level. We actually went through this zone, we changed it to a red zone, switched to a resistance, but now it's actually gone through the zone again to the upside and back through it again to the downside. So at this point, we're looking at a similar setup to this one over here. If we get a touch again into the zone and then a close below, we'll be taking this one as a short. Here we have the Euro and Aussie dollar. The same zone setup that we actually had previously on this one last week. We're looking for this one to come back into the zone and close below on the 4-hour chart, and then we'll take this one as a short. With the Euro Swiss, we did have a zone for support penciled in here, which we haven't actually had a trade on this one. It came down to almost into the zone about 2 weeks ago, and then bounced and took off, so it didn't actually make it to this zone. So I'm actually going to delete this one now and draw in a new green line, or a new zone for this one based on the previous hit. So we're looking at now, if it comes back to this level, we're looking at a buy, and we are coming close to another zone here for a sell. I'll draw the line on here for this one. However, it might be too far away at this point. It might not actually make it in the next week. It could be possibly the following week. We will watch for that anyway in the future. Next we have the pound and Swiss dollar. Trades on this one, on the daily chart, there is nothing really close. Like at this point we are in a zone, but I didn't have this one drawn up at this point, and it's probably too late to add that now. But the next zone I'm looking at is this peak here from where it hit last month. And if we swing over to the weekly chart and put a line here, we can see that this zone has actually been tested a couple of times in the past on a weekly chart. So this is actually considered to be a major level. Now if we have a look back down to the daily chart again, we can see this is the actual zone we just drew on a weekly chart. So looking at now for a touch in this zone, it not happen this week, it may actually be the following week, but we'll draw it on the chart. This is a major resistance zone, so we will watch for that one in either this week coming or the following week. And with the pound Japanese yen, we are looking at highs that we haven't seen for a very long time on this pair. And if we swing out to the weekly chart, we can see at this point it's been on a long-term trend since about 2020. This is the turnaround point here. So that was in March 2020 was when this actually turned around and started heading up. So that's been going up for now over 4 years. Going to the monthly chart, we can see here that there is a zone that we have actually touched multiple times. So this is what we would be looking at in the future for accounts. But the actual distance from this one, it's around 760 pips at the moment. So we might not actually get to this level for a couple of weeks. However, I have actually put the line on the chart here on the monthly chart. If we get back to the daily again and zoom out a little, we can see here that we still have a bit of a way to go yet before we actually get to this level around about almost 760 pips at this point. So possibly not in the next couple of weeks, maybe actually longer, but we will be watching this one in the future. Next we have the New Zealand Canadian dollar. We have a zone here that has actually been touched multiple times on the daily chart, as you can see here, and also over here as well. But we are looking at now for this one to go into the zone, tap the zone, close below, and then we will take short. So watching for that one at the moment. Not sure if it's going to happen, but we will be looking for short if it does. New Zealand twist, we did actually have a flip zone here previously. I think that probably about 2 weeks ago, we had this as a green zone for a bounce and a buy off the support level, and this actually crashed through the zone, which caused us to flip the zone into a resistance zone, but then it's actually come through and closed above that again. So we are looking at now changing this one back. It's flipped again and changing it from a resistance to a support level. And if we look at the the candles here in the past to draw the zone in, we're looking at possibly around this area. So I'm not convinced at this point that this is ready for a buy yet. It would be nice if this would actually go higher and then come back and retrace and then bounce and then take a long, but we will watch over the next few days and looking at probably on the 4-hour chart. So we can see here that it's kind of had a small bounce, but not a very convincing one at this point. So watching this one in the future for a possible buy. Now we have the US Swiss, and on this one we're looking at the resistance level. We've actually had multiple touches on here as support. The zone is actually flipped. Beginning of June, this one actually went straight through the zone and continued. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive days of short trades basically, or candles. We came back and almost touched the zone here, but didn't. Then it's came back and gone through the zone, but then closed below the zone again now. So we've had 3 red days here at this point, we are now looking for a retracement back into the zone, and if we can get that one in the next few days or this week, we'll be looking for a bounce onto the short side. Okay, now we've been in this zone now for let's say 1 to 3 months, and also the first week of July we've started to make a move up again to the long side. And looking at the high level up here, we've got on a weekly and a monthly chart, I'm just trying to see if this is like an all-time high, if we've actually been there before. But if we look at this on the monthly chart, we can see that this is our all-time high. Let's see if I can read that. $2,448 by the looks, that one. So we are looking at this one now on a monthly chart. It looks as if it's going to head back towards that area. So let's draw a red line at the top of this zone, just so that we can keep an eye on this one in the future. We go back to our daily chart now, see how far away we are. So this is the zone that we've previously touched, and drawing a zone here above this candle and below this candle, I think we've got a zone here that we might actually reach soon, and if it does hit this week, we'll be looking at taking a short as a bounce. This could possibly be retracement, and we are maybe looking at this one actually breaking through this zone and going for an all-time high. That would actually be great to see. That's it for today, and now this is for the week commencing the 8th and going to the 12th of July. So catch up with me again next week, and when I go through the results and see how we did for this week. At this point, we have got quite a few. I think there was at least 6 or 8 possible trades that we are looking at, and see if any of these ones actually play out and give us a good result. You may not be aware, but at the moment I'm currently also testing advisors for M5 on various demo accounts, and looking at these for possible prop firm challenges. So I will in the future share the results of these expert advisors with you as well. So stick around and watch for my future results.